The story of the First Crusade starts long before the first soldier marched. For many years, Christians in Europe made long journeys to a special place, Jerusalem. The city was called the Holy Land, and it mattered deeply to their faith. But peace did not last. A new power in the east began to change things. The Seljuk Turks were fierce horsemen who conquered many lands. The Byzantine Emperor Alexios feared for his borders and for pilgrims. Envoys rode to the west asking for help. In 1095, Pope Urban II called Christians to take arms and protect the holy places. His word set thousands in motion, knights, lords, and ordinary people. And so the great journey began. We will follow the armies as they cross Europe to Constantinople and beyond. People from France, Germany, Italy, and other lands answered the call. Leaders like Godfrey of Bouillon, Raymond of Toulouse, and Beaumont of Taranto led their own armies. The backbone were heavy knights, chainmail, helmets, lances, and war horses. Alongside them marched infantry, archers, and huge numbers of ordinary people. The People's Crusade. In the east, the Seljuk Turks used fast horse archers and hit-and-run tactics. But Seljuk power was divided among rival emirs. Sometimes they failed to coordinate. Further south, the Fatimid Caliphate in Egypt controlled Jerusalem at the time the Crusaders arrived. Cities like Antioch and Jerusalem were protected by tall stone walls, garrisons, and local militias. The residents were diverse. Arabs, Turks, Armenians, Jews, and Christians lived in these towns. Throughout the campaign, we will track each party: Crusader columns, Seljuk patrols, Fatimid movements, on the map. Next, the tools and tactics of war. The Crusaders and defenders used a range of weapons: swords, lances, shields, bows, and siege engines. A knight's sword and lance were his main tools in close combat and charges. Crossbows were powerful but slow. Longbows could fire faster but with less penetration. Large arrow volleys could break enemy formations or force them to shelter behind shields. To take cities, they built catapults, trebuchets, and siege towers. Catapults hurled huge rocks to batter walls. Siege towers let soldiers reach battlements. Defenders fired from arrow slits, dropped rocks, and used boiling oil or flammable liquids to repel attackers. Greek fire was a terrifying weapon, a burning liquid that could not be quenched easily. Crusaders relied on heavy cavalry, a mass charge to smash enemy lines. Seljuk horse archers used speed, circle, shoot, and withdraw to wear down heavy troops. Crusaders adapted with tight marching boxes. Knights inside, infantry and archers on the perimeter. They dug tunnels, undermined walls, and tested engineering, all to force a breach. In 1096-1097, the thousands of Crusaders marched across Europe toward Constantinople. They crossed forests, rivers, and mountains. They carried their own supplies and hoped for local help. When they reached Constantinople, Alexios was relieved but wary of such large foreign forces. After pledges, the Byzantines ferried them across the Bosporus into Asia Minor. In May 1097, the Crusaders besieged Nicaea, the Seljuk capital in the region. After a month, the city surrendered. The Byzantines took it back, angering some Crusaders. The army split to forage, a dangerous choice in hostile territory. On the 1st of July 1097, Kilij Arslan attacked near Dorylaeum and poured arrows into the scattered Crusaders. Reinforcements arrived. The united Crusaders countercharged and routed the Turks. They crossed sun-baked Anatolian plains. Thirst, hunger, and constant harassment took a harsh toll. In October 1097, they reached the Great Walled City of Antioch, a massive fortress. The siege lasted many months through winter. The Crusaders suffered hunger, disease, and desertion. In June 1098, Bohemond made a secret deal with an insider, and troops slipped into a tower by night. They seized much of the city, though the citadel still held, and the situation remained precarious. Soon, Keboghar's relief army arrived and besieged the Crusaders inside Antioch. A claimed relic, the Holy Lance, lifted morale. The Crusaders sallied out and defeated Kebogha. After Antioch, the depleted Crusaders marched south along the coastline toward Jerusalem. They were smaller now. Many had died in battle from hunger and disease. Jerusalem was held by the Fatimids, with strong walls and a ready garrison. The dry country had few trees for siege towers. Supplies were desperately short. Help arrived. Ships brought timber and supplies to the nearby ports. They built 2 massive siege towers, led by Godfrey and Raymond. On the night of the 13th of July 1099, they began an assault that continued through the next day. Defenders used oil, stones, and everything they had to repel them. On the 15th of July, Godfrey's tower reached the wall. Knights swarmed in and a gate was opened. The Crusaders poured into the streets. What followed was a terrible and tragic sack. Muslims, Jews, men, women, and children suffered in the fighting and flight. After securing the city, the Crusaders went to the Church of the Holy Sepulchre to give thanks. Jerusalem falls. End of the First Crusade campaign. The Crusaders created 4 states: Edessa, Antioch, Tripoli, and the Kingdom of Jerusalem. Godfrey of Bouillon became the defender of the Holy Sepulchre. For 2 centuries, the region stayed unstable. Castles, sieges, and repeated crusades followed. Trade, ideas, and knowledge moved between East and West. Spices, texts, and new learning returned to Europe. The Crusades changed Christian-Muslim relations and increased papal power in Europe. In short, the First Crusade achieved a military goal but left a legacy of division and exchange that shaped history. If you found this story useful, please like, comment, and subscribe for more animated history. Share this video and tell us which battle you want explained next. Sources: historical summaries adapted for educational animated video. Thank you for watching.